Hey guys, how you doing? Lucious T here, back from Retropalooza. Now, I had a great time, picked up a lot of cool things, and I just knew I had to have it. Forced a lot of you to subscribe to my channel.
That's right. Lucious Showcase.
You have no idea what that is, but you should pull out your phone right now and subscribe.
I will subscribe today.
Give me your phone. Now, I figured let's get to the game that I brought and was showcasing there, because that's all why you're here. Marvelous Another Treasure Island. Now this game has been pretty much the holy grail of translated games for me. Turns out it was actually designed and created by Angor, or however the hell you say his name. It's the dude who directed the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This game is what got him the job, but it's impossible to find. It's not even completely translated, but it is playable. There was only one time in the game that I ever got stuck, and it was a key code, and I think the code was 1246, something like that. But other than that, totally playable. This game is actually built on the Link to the Past engine. You're this group of kids on a field trip on some random island, and slowly you get items for each one of your three characters. So you don't control just one, you have three. So you'll have Dion, or Dion, which is a little dude. He's based off the Link sprite, I'd say, and he's the smallest, but he's the fastest. Then you have Jack, who looks like a blue Toe Jam and Earl. He's the smart guy, kind of the engineer. And then there's Max, which looks like Porky from Earthbound, and he's sort of the bruiser strength of the group. And they're red, blue, and green, and they each have their own colored key they get, which then lets them open red, blue, and green chests. And they'll each get their own items, and depending on which puzzle you're solving, you'll have to use a certain item for a certain puzzle. It's a really interesting game. You can do something where you push the A button and you'll get a little finger that lets you search the surrounding area, and then you can examine what's going on. When you examine something, you get into a little examine box, which you can decide to talk to someone, you can use an item, or you can use teamwork. When you use teamwork, all three of the characters will either have to be positioned a certain way, or you'll have to be controlling a certain character to do it in order to stack on top of each other, or push stuff, or lift an item. It kind of has the idea of an educational game at times, just because they encourage you to be such good friends, and oh, teamwork this, and oh, work together to do that. So Marvelous is the name of a pirate who apparently discovered some treasure. I'm not going to go too much into this, but you go to various different islands. You go to one that's kind of like the Little People in Gulliver's Travels. You go to one that's sort of a desert. You go to another one that's a jungle. And the whole game is pretty short. You can beat it in about 10 to 12 hours at the most. But it's just fun. And you get this thing called luck rocks. Luck rocks are these yellow rocks which are very prevalent, and you need it to fuel your ship. Also, another great thing they did is if you ever get stuck, you can blow the whistle and this little yellow bird named Croc comes, and if you give him one of your luck rocks, he'll give you a hint. A few complaints with the game is switching between the characters is fun, but then if you switch between them, you then have to round them all up again. It's not as simple as just going from 1 to 2 to 3. It almost reminds me of Pikmin a little bit, the way you whistle to bring your characters together. So it's just very interesting to see all these things going into this game that came out in 1996 that you can see echoes of years later. And maybe that's why we never heard about it, but it's so freaking hard to find. I couldn't even find a ROM emulation of it, let alone a cartridge. I think this might even be the first review of the game. Check it out. It is well worth your time. So yeah, that is your Lucious T review. This game gets a 9. It really does. This game gets a 9. It's nowhere near as good as Link to the Past, but it's the perfect little just cherry on the Super NES Sundae, because this game has such a great engine. I love the Link to the Past engine, and it makes me wish there was more of them. I know there's Gunman Proof, but other than that, those are the only two I know of. So if you know of any other ones, let me know. So yeah, Marvelous, Another Treasure Island. Great game. Pick it up and play it. That's your homework.